Hello, and welcome back to FRLT. It is time for Season 3. Yes, it is Season 3, and it is time for Tier 2, Round 2, and we come to the track of none other than Japan for tonight. So here's the track map. Ultimately, the track is 5.807 kilometers, 3.608 miles, 18 turns. So it is a rather longish track, ultimately. It's a longish sort of track for tonight. So, as you can see, 18 turns, rather big. Calendar-wise, we have something going on that's very interesting in the calendar. We have this wonderful thing at the moment, and currently, as you can see, we've gone Hungary. We now go to Japan, and this game has absolutely, and this game is trippy because it's just. We've currently had a little bit of a game problem. So a little bit of a problem going on here. The game's put me in a car, which obviously is something that I do not want. Apologies about that, because it's put me in a stupid car, which I didn't particularly want to be in. So I'm going to have to leave quick. And go back, because it's a bit of a waste. So we're going to be getting into it very soon, because I do apologise. This game is completely nuts. It's next level. So this game's been a little bit nuts. Okay, so this should have been Sunday now. Okay. So let's see whether this wants to work now. I do apologise for the little delay that we've had in this. So we've had a little delay in this. My apologies, everybody. It's been a little bit of a mess, to be honest. This game though is a bit of a mess if we're looking all round, but we're heading to the track now. Finally, we're heading to the track, which has taken us a quick little minute to get to the track. Of course, quick minute. So don't mind the retired status of my own gamer tag being on there, but we're now gonna actually head into the race. Finally, we've made it. We've made it to the race. Made it to this part. So as I said, my apologies about that rather odd start, but the game messing with me like it likes to do quite often. We've got a Haas on a lap. That is Moore, who's just invalidated. We've now got flipping it. So we don't have 15 drivers. We do just have 14 tonight, which of course is rather disappointing to only have 14. Hello, F1 Shorts. Welcome to the stream. Be doing well, but flipping it almost flips it, but more spins it. So a bit of disappointment there for himself. We're now looking, that's not that Williams. We want to be looking to a Ferrari, which I believe is the Ferrari of I am Donny. As you see, making his way round. We're going to ride on board. He's ending out the middle sector, not too bad from himself. Now making his way round up the hill he goes. Let's see what he's going to do. His first sector, not too bad. Everybody's invalidated up to this point, by the way. So he is going to be the first driver to fully cross the line without invalidating. So it's not been the best of starts for some teams. Like I said, I do apologize that we do have a shortage of drivers. POR sadly left the championship over the weekend after they decided to shut down. So sadly, another team's gone, which means at the moment we do only have an 18 driver grid for this current time. We do only have 18 drivers on the grid. Also, my apologies. Yes, my name is up there. Don't mind my name being up there on the list. It is a retirement. It's going to stay like that. But yeah, so essentially, as you can see, making my way around. TTRE, by the way, they do only have one driver for tonight. So they've only got one driver anyway. A few teams struggling to find numbers. But let's see what number I Am Donut is going to get. A 1 minute 29.672. He is on the medium tyres, though, so you've got to give him a little bit of a shout-out for not too shabby of a lap. As you can see, Tarulba immediately beats that. 1 minute 28 is what he sets. He goes quite a bit faster in regard to that. Manolo comes up to line. He beats that. 1 minute 27.922. Into the 1 minute 27s we go in this session now. We're looking a little bit more competitive as qualifying goes on. We've got Tabaxi, who's invalidated. I think we've got a Ferrari coming around. It's Niki Lauda, none other than the legend Niki Lauda. No, I'm kidding. It is the great old driver of Niki Lauda in there, of course, here tonight. Let's see how he's going to be able to do and compete out there. Wildstorm had to take a qualifying ban. So it doesn't seem for myself, but that's due to problems with the game. But he goes P3 ahead of his teammate by a good 0.3, but not good for a soft tyre lap. Quite a rough soft tyre lap we've seen there. Goodman's now coming round. Let's see what he's going to be able to do on his lap, because he needs to put together a lap here. He really does need to put together a lap, because at the moment he isn't. So not too bad for the middle sector. Not what he currently wants to be having for the middle sector. Heading around the chicane now. Let's see how he's going to do. And around the final corner he goes. Up to the line. Let's see what Goodman's is going to do. He goes fastest of all. 1 minute 27.865. Just about 600ths faster than the man of Manolo for the moment. Manolo for the moment. Just a little bit faster. Not a lot faster. Just a little bit he needed. We've got Kef, who's on a slow lap. I think we've got SET Danny coming round next. SET, one of the only teams with a full lineup here tonight. He is going to be the only team. They're one of the only teams with a full lineup, along with, I believe, Peck as well, and a few others, as you can see in the Ferraris. VEL need a good push tonight. They're leading the Drivers' Championship. Constructors' Championship, I believe it is, that they're leading. Which, of course, is very nice for them to have on their side for the moment. Is that, I do apologise, I don't have the standings up on my screen. So yeah, so we'll have to see as it goes on. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one. Let's actually take a look at the standings quickly, because I wasn't able to bring it up for tonight, sadly. Sadly wasn't able to bring it up for tonight. He's invalidated. Flipping it is on a lap, though. The machine, VEL, yeah, they're on top at the moment, 28 points. TTRE sits second on 25 after taking a victory last race. That's what I forgot. SET a third, MAR a fourth in the Mercedes only. So Mercedes here tonight. There's only one MAR driver tonight. GRS in the Ferraris, of course. XPG in the Haas. Got a few teams with full lineups, a few teams don't. TTRE don't. MAR don't. LR in the Williams, they do. So yeah, 2-3 teams lacking drivers tonight. So we are lacking about 2-3 drivers. So we should have about 16 tonight. 16, 7. We should actually have 18 tonight. To be honest, we should be having 18 and not this little amount. But we'll have to see as this goes on. But flipping it, has he put in a good enough lap? Has it been a decent lap? Yes, it is. It's a decent enough lap to put him P5. I think we've got the VEL driver once again on another lap. He's pushing again. Is he going to be coming into the pits or not? He's got enough fuel, I would say, to make his way around again. So I think maybe he's pushing this lap. I do think he is because he's using some overtake. Goodman's, though, on provisional pole. LR looking strong into this race. They had an all-right race last time round. I've actually got some notes because I had a nice interview with their owner, TJ. His hopes for LR in the Constructors' Championship is top 3, top 4, roughly. That's where they're hoping. Their first race wasn't too great. They only got P5 in the Constructors after the first race of the season. Now, they have said they suspected Japan might be a little bit of a struggle for themselves. They might struggle a bit around Japan. But they do think double points is definitely on for tonight. And at the moment, Goodman's, of course, P1. It's looking much better than just a bit of a struggle. Yeah, double points still looking like something that could be difficult. Australia, Austria, Great Britain, and Spain. Australia, Austria, Great Britain, Spain, and Bahrain, are all what he has said is good chances for LR this season. He believes that that's where they're going to make up most of their points, and he said that their best race will most likely and probably will be Spain, where they'll score the most points as they are mostly a Spanish team. So that's going to be important. Manolo sadly has a problem. As you can see, Jape retires from the session. We've got Vixel, who isn't going quickly. He's coming in. Got Danny, who's on a lap. We got, who do we have close to line on lap? Tabaxi's just started. Let's watch on board with Tabaxi, actually. But yeah, as I was saying, LR, TJ, their owner and manager, not feeling the most confident for Japan. Feeling that, for instance, more of the simplistic and more popular tracks are going to be where LR really make up their points in their campaign. They do need a big finish. They only scored 12 points after Hungary in round 1. They only scored 12. So they've got to pick it up a little bit here. They really do have to pick it up quite a bit, especially with how VEL finished their opening race, taking a lot more points. So at the moment, I think they say about 16 points away from the leaders in the championship. So they need a really big race over VEL, but for the moment, doesn't look like they're going to be getting it. Yeah, so as this goes on, we're going to be watching as the drivers go on. Let's see how they're going to compete for the rest of the night. But Tabaxi making his way round. He's got to make this work. He's got to make this lap get together. He needs to catch up to his teammate. Whoa! Big slide on the rears. Qualifying starts to come to an end with only 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining of the session. He comes across the line. He goes P4. LR's prediction of having a rough race but double points. So we said about rough race and double points. We said about them probably getting they were sort of looking at roughly the same result as last time. TJ said about around P6 to P9 is where he was expecting. That's obviously very different because Goodman's, by the way, has just improved again. He's gone to a 1 minute 27.779. Increasing that gap a little bit more, about another 800s he's increased the gap by to Manolo. So it's going to be a very interesting one. Zalix on his lap. Let's see what he's going to do. Not a bad sector 1. Nothing special to talk about, though. He's maybe about 2-3 tenths down in the first sector from the leader. But, of course, we do have 2 qualifying bans for tonight. Only 15 drivers will... only 14 drivers... I apologize. 14 drivers will be racing tonight. We've had many people miss out on tonight's race. A lot of teams struggling to get their attendance to be good, which, of course, is not what we expect to see from teams. It's really disappointing to see from Tier 2 teams that, are not able to get their academy to race. Of course, it's quite a frustrating sight from both commentary and sort of every single side of it, but we'll have to see as this goes on and as the season goes on, as it is only round 2. As Zalix goes off track. Big mistake. Bit of a rough one there for Zalix. Quite a big struggle for him. He hasn't been able to put in a lap. Only driver yet to put in a lap. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. So we're going to be seeing who is going out on track next. It is a PEC driver. It is the PEC of Kef who's going out on track. It is Kef. He's P11, bottom of the order for the moment, just outside of the top 10. He's a decent PEC. Need a good result here tonight. The last result not particularly worthy. Not the best of results. They do need an improvement, of course, for PEC. They have been struggling a bit lately. But let's see, as the drivers start to make their way out. 3 drivers currently on out laps. I think we're going to be seeing an Aston Martin on his way out. An SCT is making his way out at the same time. And now we've got Ferrari, GRS making his way out as well. So, it's PEC. Zinks, no. I'm calling it PEC. It's easier to say. You'd understand. It's just easier to say, okay. But as you can see, Kef making his way around. Going to be watching him on his final lap and for the final chance for all of these drivers. Going to be seeing as drivers make their way around as they try and push for one final time. Everything they've got in this qualifying session is what they're going to be trying to do. So let's see as the PEC driver makes his way around. Going to ride on board with him and ride on board with the driver for one final time in qualifying this evening. As now he heads round. Ooh, bit of a wobble. Now heading down the pit straight. Into turn 1, he's got to try and throw in the car nicely. He's on the curb, throwing the car through. And that's so far not too bad. Now into the next corner he goes, throwing it into the next one then. Then up the hill, rising more and more as he reaches to the crest of the hill now. So he makes his left-hander the final corner of Sector 1. The rather long Sector 1 it is. He might experience some traffic, including his teammate at the end of the lap. Up by a second already, so he's definitely going to be finding a lot of time. Hopefully across the rest of the lap he'll be finding a lot of time. Kef really needs to pick up the pace. He's currently he's 3.4 seconds away from his teammate, who's currently P3. So let's see whether this academy driver can do it for PEC and whether he can do it for himself as well and help his teammate out maybe in the race. His teammate's sitting right in front of him. And this is going to be a big... Oh, they better not be giving each other slipstream. They're giving each other... For God's sake. Why? I've said this about 50 times. Slipstream is not allowed. 2.7 seconds now. That is going to put him slightly closer to his teammate, but it's not good. It's a massive lockup. Massive mistake. I made this very clear many times. It is not allowed to give a tow. He goes P4. He does go behind his teammate, just behind his teammate, though. I think we have a VEL driver making his way around. Tabaxi gives up. He's retired. He's done. He doesn't feel like he can improve. Maybe he ultimately had a bit of a problem there. Vixel coming up to line next. Let's see what he can do for VEL. Can he improve? No, he can't. He was half a second down at the flag. It's not enough for him. HS Moore isn't improving either. That's his qualifying over P11 and a rather disappointing one. We also have SEC Danny flipping it, by the way. Ultimately failing to get in the final lap. He invalidated quite a few drivers struggling to get in that final lap. SEC Danny, as he comes up to line, he's going to go P5 now. Jumps to Tabaxi at the end. Manolo, let's see how he's going to do. He's improved by a small amount. Can he improve enough? It's close. 5 thousandths is the gap. It's not enough. It's close. Zalix goes P11. You can see Lauda doesn't improve. Goodman's goes even faster. 1 minute 27.457 is the time set by the Williams. A strong time that generally is. I think we've got maybe one more driver coming around. That's flipping it, who's just crossed the line. We do have Deoni coming up to the line next for GRS. GRS not looking like they're having the best of qualifying performances. Currently P9 and P10 on the edge of the points. Currently will only score 3 across the line. He goes P5. Massive improvement. 1.3 seconds is exactly the lap time he needed to find, and he's found it here and now. But your man on pole position is Goodman's in first for LR. LR take their first pole of the season. They're chasing that championship. As TJ said, he wanted top 4 at least for the team. They're currently 5th, so this is a good step towards possibly even winning the championship. So here is the order. Hoodmans is in first, followed by Manolo, Taroba, Kef, I am Dione, SCT Danny, Tabaxi, VEL Vixel, flipping it, Lauda, Zalix, Moore, don't mind me sitting in there, TCRE, Hape, and Wildstorm starting in last place as well. That is everybody on the grid. I don't think I should load in to do a setup or anything, because that will just be mental if it makes me do that. It shouldn't make me do that. But we'll have to figure out when we get into it whether it does or it doesn't. Because if it does, I don't think we're going to be seeing the race start. But it hasn't. We'll be readying up in about 3 minutes time. So we've got a little bit of time. We've got a little bit of wait before we get into it. We've got about 3 minutes before we get into it. We'll be getting started at 8:27. If you guys are enjoying tonight's stream, please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also clicking on that notification bell to know about all the content we'll be doing here in FRLT. As of course we have Tier 1 on Tuesday, Tier 2 on Wednesday, and 4s on Sundays. So we're going to be getting ready very soon. Sadly, 4s was cancelled on Sunday. Just a bit of information on that. That was cancelled because of the real life Grand Prix. Everybody wanted to do it an hour earlier. Sadly, we would have had no coverage or anything. And also about Tier 1 yesterday. There was a stream on Twitch, but that was with JD Bergsma, the owner of ABE. So it wasn't officially here on the FRLT channel, which was disappointing, but the way it is. But yeah, so that's what happened on Sunday. The Grand Prix sadly going the way, and to be honest, it was very disappointing, of course, to have that. Tonight, some teams, of course, struggling to find numbers to race. TTRE. One of them, of course, TTRE being one of them, MAR being another. Some have considered the struggle to be a bit ridiculous, how teams are struggling. But of course, the game isn't good this year, and drivers don't particularly want to drive it. That's always the way it goes, though, to be honest. That is always the way it goes. If you don't have a good game, you don't enjoy that. But, you can't have everything perfect. You can't ever. But we'll be getting ready in the next few moments, as soon as we're going to get going in the next couple of moments, when we reach 8:27. So we're going to see as we get started. If my AI is on track, I'll be very annoyed with this game. And we are going, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And out they go here for Japan in round number 2 of FRLT Tier 2. And it is a good getaway from Hoodman's. Tons of lagging going on further behind. And it is some contact further back. 3 wide almost, we can see in the distance. We can see as drivers wind their way round the S section as they make their way up the order. Tabaxi making his way off. Oh, there goes Pek Tarulba. He's fallen down the order. He's dropped really far down. But it's been a good start from Hoodmans and Manolo, who have both broken away from Tabaxi. They've already got over a second. You can see some lagging going on from Manolo. But it is a good start from these front two and exactly what they've been looking for and exactly what they needed to be going on here. But as you can see, they make their way round not too badly. SET Danny gaining some places as well further back. You can see Danny in this battle. Deoni gets back past. The Ferrari goes off track though, which is a big mistake. Lots of drivers actually going off track. So some struggles coming from drivers for turn-in. Here comes SEC Danny. He chooses the inside. He's not going to get squeezed. He's pushing. He backs off in the end. And now there's a change for the lead. Manolo takes the lead of the race. It's not been the start LR wants. As you can see, Hoodmans goes very deep in the corner. That's dropped him miles behind. He's now 8/10 behind the race leader. And that is a poor chicane from him. And that's now seeing a gap start to build between everybody for the moment. You could just see somehow, by the way, my AI is keeping up. I don't know how, but it is. But ultimately, not too bad of a start from Manolo. Don't mind my AI. It's not me driving. Just to make that clear, it definitely is not me. It's just the game's glitched and garbage. So, as you see, Manolo makes his way up the hill incredibly quickly. He's trying his best now. Habe fighting hard. Fighting incredibly hard. And he goes... Ooh, somebody went off track there. That was HS Moore who went off track. Got a bit of battling and a bit of oddness going on further behind with specifically my AI and, for instance, these guys who are struggling to get past my AI to begin with. I'm not going to chat about their skills, but okay. Okay. It's 70 AI, by the way. That's the level. It's 70 AI, and Tabaxi retires. Tabaxi's retired, and that is that. Take control of my car. I can't. It won't let me take control. Unless I plug in. Unless I plug in this. I might have to plug in my controller midstream and fix these problems. This game is just giving me grief. This game is giving me so much grief. My apologies, everybody, for this. It's been a kind of a mental kind of thing going on. Nah, it won't let me take control. I can't do anything. Damn it. I can't do anything about that. My apologies, everybody. I don't know what's wrong with this game. I don't know what's going on. But Tabaxi out, LR down in the championship. So, yeah, my apologies to anybody. But yeah, kind of crazy. So yeah, so Manolo now leads. So yeah, so Manolo leads. I don't know, by the way, I'm just going to make this clear. I don't know what's wrong with F1 24 and why it's like this. Trying to fix everything with this game, but it doesn't seem to be working. So yeah, so Manolo leads, Tabaxi out. Disappointment for LR here tonight. A lot of disappointment for LR tonight. You know, they're not leading. They lost out the lead of the race very early on. Manolo has led basically every single lap now. He's crossed the line in the lead every single lap. Now, Harpe having a battle with Kef over some positioning. And there we go. There goes Harpe into P5. But he's gone wide. He's onto the grass. He's gone way too deep. And now he's dropped down to P6 once again. And it is disappointment there. Vixel fighting with Tarulba over P7 here. Getting very racy. VEL versus Peck versus then, of course, XPG. Some drivers going all over the place. Slow drive in the middle sector. I believe that is Lauda who's gone round. Yes. No, it's I am Deone who's gone round. He's spun it. He's down to P12 now. Disappointment coming in for GRS a day. Just getting worse. HS Moore's making his way past these guys really quickly. He's trying to make his way past. He got past Wildstorm very quickly. Now he's chasing down the man of Zalix. And now into Spoon he goes. Can he make it? Yes, he does. Zalix makes a mistake. Allows him to get into P8. But they're still side by side. This is some interesting racing going down here. You know, lots of mistakes being made by drivers around each other. And this is something you don't want to be seeing sort of this early on in a Grand Prix, you know, and in a race. You don't want to be seeing this happening so early. So now heading down around the corners, Moore goes. He's lost out here to Wildstorm as well at the same time. So this has been a real struggle for XPG. One's leading, the other's on the edge of the points. P10 is right on that cusp. Interesting night we're seeing, though. Top two kind of very much on their own. SCT Danny, though, also staying in that sort of 3-second barrier at the moment. He's staying in that. Kef as well, slightly further behind. Harpe, though, fighting over P4. They're both going for it. Which I must say is pretty interesting to see that we have got a bit of a battle for P4 going on here. A few drivers kind of close. And then we've got all of the rest of these drivers who are just within tenths of each other. And again, Moore trying to go for a move on Zalix. It hasn't worked again. It's more disappointment for himself. It's just shocking, to be honest. It's quite shocking, I must say. So as we watch, Moore still unable to get past Zalix. More disappointment for him tonight. As you can see, Harpe making a move. He's gone up to P4 there. As we can see, Wildstorm. Oh, big mistake from Tarulba. Sees him drop down the order. He's down to P8. Oh! Big incident. Big incident further back. I don't know who that was, but I saw some front wing coming off of somebody. Some front wing has come off of Moore's car. Was that a collision there? Was it a collision? Was it Deone's front wing? No, it isn't. It clearly isn't. Deone getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's interesting, though. He's caused a collision with Moore. Now into the hairpin, you can just see the XPG drive just trying to drive for his life at the moment. But I think there's also damage to Dalix as well. Yeah, there is. There's also front wing damage to Dalix at the same time. So not sure what's fully going on. Why these drivers are getting so much damage. We didn't get an angle on that, of course, which was really disappointing. As Lauda now retires from the session's second retirement of the evening. I'm going to try once again to take control, but you can see it just doesn't want me to take control. It's just not happy with me taking control. So really disappointing, really disappointing. Manolo having a bit of an incident with Hoodmans there. Harpe now making the move again. As you can see, before it goes off, GRS not having the best of days. My AI making overtakes. It's doing important things. Making overtakes. Very important. Manolo making his way round. Leads this race now by 2.5 seconds. He's got a pretty big lead now, 2.8. That's just going up and up and up. So I don't expect Manolo to slow down at any point on this sort of lead and having this lead and everything. But I guess we'll have to see as the race goes on, because it is, of course, quite a long race. We all know that. It's a rather long race. You know, lap 7 out of 27. Still another about 20 laps to go in this race before we go on to lap number 8. Everybody getting a little bit more spread out. You can see Kef battling with Harpe again. These two have just been battling for quite a while, and it's actually allowing Wildstorm to catch up a bit, because he's been able to catch up by a few tenths this lap. He's now got down to 3.1, so they're getting pretty close. But here comes Kef again. He's going to make a move. He's going to make the move done. And there we go. Into P4 he goes, and he actually gets a really big head start on Harpe there. But TCRE not having the luck they did last race. Only one driver for this week as well. Deone making a move. Vixel as well, getting dropped down to P10 there with a penalty. 2 drivers with penalties for the moment. It's Peck, yeah. It is Peck. It is Peck. It is Peck. I am right, Travis. It is Peck. Somebody agrees, finally. But yeah, Manolo might have a bit of a boring race from here. The gap is starting to close down, but he might have a slightly boring race for a while, because for him it's just about keeping pace. It's just about staying in front. So he might just be able to do that on his own for quite a while without having to lose much ERS or anything. He can just save battery. He can just save his tyres a bit more, go a bit slower, and just take a nice pace and still stay in the lead by the time the man of Hoodmans catches up. Because when Hoodmans catches up, it'll be in maybe 2 laps time, maybe lap 10, lap 11 that he'll catch. Probably about lap 10 that he'll actually be able to make an overtake. So it's going to be, you know, we're looking at quite a while, lap 10, maybe lap 11, when he is able to make an overtake on Manolo, which is going to be his only problem, is that he's going to have to wait a long, long while. And of course, nobody wants to wait that long in a race to make a move. Nobody wants to wait that long. But I guess that is maybe the way it goes. Yeah. This is gonna be a long race for the drivers. Of course, they're gonna have to battle for position. But you see again, Hoodmans drops back slightly. He hasn't gained through this first sector. It's actually grown slightly by about 600ths. It's gained in the first sector. So Hoodman's definitely slower through the first sector of all. But you can see on the straight slow, Hoodman's is quite a bit quicker. So I have to see flipping it just set the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, so the race is going on pretty long. It's a pretty long race. It's a very demanding track as well. You need to focus a lot. You know, there's some tracks, for instance, like Austria, where, you know, in sector 1, it's really just turn 1 and turn 3 you have to think about. And then, you know, it's only really turn 4. You know, there's only really 4 corners that you think about in the first and second sector at Austria, you know. And 3 in the final sector. It's more sort of 7, 8 corners that you actually think about when you're out on the track. But here at Suzuka, you have to be thinking about all of them. You have to be on point with all of them. Hoodman's now within a second. He's closing up heavily down the straights, by the way. He's getting massively closer. Undeniably closer now, about half a second behind. The race is back on for the lead. The race is definitely back on for the lead. But we'll have to see as that lead grows and changes, and as the race, of course, goes on, that's something you always want to be looking out for. 13 drivers left, or 12 officially 12. And a big moment. Danny's had a spin. Danny went into the wall. He's had a spin. And that, it looks like to be SET Danny's podium chances out of the chance. SET even having a rough weekend for themselves after a good round one. Starting to fall apart very slightly for the team. Not exactly what Danny needed to do. Especially when it's such a strong position and possible chances to gain on, for instance, VEL, to overtake VEL in the Constructors' Championship. That's really the big thing for them, is to try and overtake VEL in the Constructors, possibly put them up to second in the Constructors, but it doesn't look like that will be happening here tonight. Now we're starting to see what I said about is how now Hoodlands has pushed on his mediums and he's pushed really hard to catch up. He's now struggling to overtake Manolo. And this is the one problem that I said about earlier, that, you know, he's going to push now and he's going to then struggle. Oh, Manolo's in the wall! So is Kef! Kef and Manolo! Both going to the wall! Oh my god! Wildstorm almost taken out by Kef. Now you can see Manolo making his way around slowly. Manolo has left the session. He feels he's done. He's definitely angry and definitely not happy with the way that was, leading for XPG. Now losing it, now in AI mode. It's all kind of gone away from him here tonight. Shocker. We've seen the grip has been incredibly low for teams. They've really struggled with grip tonight. You could just see it everywhere. But I did not expect to be seeing that here and now. A double spin from two different drivers in the same corner. But now VEL's Constructors' Championship hopes might continue, as they currently now they're pushing for 14 points in this race, bring them to about 42 points after two races, really help themselves in the Constructors. See, Kef now comes into the pits. We're going to see Zalix also into the pits as well. But a very interesting race going on. Tabaxi now leaves the session as well, but not sure really what to say for Manolo. Really don't know what to say. It's now that the AI take over his car, which will ultimately mean he will not score points. Everybody will get moved up some places in the points. My AI actually making overtakes, actually doing some pretty awesome stuff at the moment, by the way. My AI catching onto Manolo, which I'm so heavily surprised by, my own AI being so incredibly fast. But he's being speedy, but going to be caught by I am Deoni, which I do apologise for anybody who gets stuck behind this worthless AI of myself that's nowhere close to the skills I actually hold. But yeah, it's kind of bad, to be honest. It's kind of bad. But I guess backmarker gonna cause some problems. I'm not sure why it isn't ghosted. Ghosting is on. I have no clue why this isn't ghosted. I did put ghosting on for this week for like back markers and stuff, so I'm so confused why nobody's ghosting. So I'll have to look at that. Today in this race has just been all over the place. No words for what is happening here tonight. No words at all. I still don't know how some people are struggling to overtake my AI so horrifically. I don't know how some people are struggling to overtake such a simple AI. Not difficult to overtake my AI. It's really simple. My AI is actually giving a real fight. My AI is giving a real tough fight to like everybody else. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. I'm so sorry to everybody for this absolute atrocious AI scandal, this absolute monotony and stupidity in this game. To be honest, it's because it is stupid. It is a stupid game. But yeah, so my apologies to everybody. Yeah, it's mental. I don't know why it even made a driver and put me in it. I was spectating, so yeah, bit of a confusing week. But Hoodman's now leads. He's gonna come in. I want to know where he comes out, because you see, a few drivers were kind of close to him. I want to see where he actually comes out in all of this if others don't pit, because he's gonna go to the hard tires. We're gonna have to see how he goes. Now he sticks on the hard tires. Now he's out of his pit box already, and nobody and Harpe isn't even out of the chicane yet. We've still got a Vixel who's going round. Whether he'll get out in front of the Williams or not, he will just come out in front. But Hoodman's now takes the lead, and is dominantly taking the lead as well. It's not even by a small amount. He's just very nicely taken this rather large lead in all of this. He's got about 2 seconds between him and Harpe. P3. So he's kind of got this sort of lead, which has kind of shortened a bit, but he's going to have a problem now. He's going to have Vixel to get round. That's the problem he's going to be facing, is Vixel. He's going to have to try and get round and beat Vixel in the end. Let's see how he'll do. And Vixel just lets him by. I think Vixel knows he can't really fight this against Hoodman's. To be honest, he can't really battle this one, as LR is heading on their way for a victory, and a good 25 points walking their way at the end of just the second race of the season. You know, another winner. TTRE and now LR take a victory, you know, on their way to do it. But we'll have to see whether Hoodman's will make another mistake in this race, and that's the big thing. If he makes another mistake, he is going to lose out, but you can see the gap kind of staying the same to getting maybe slightly smaller, because now Harpe is starting to catch, and you can see that gap not very big, 2.5 seconds it sits at for the moment. But we'll have to see as it goes on. Wildstorm making the big return of the night. He started last, he now is in third, on for a podium here tonight, which is an interesting one, I will say. Nonetheless. So, making his way round, Hoodman's now losing time, though. It's the same thing as that Hoodman's had earlier, was that he's losing time again. He's losing huge amounts of time. He's now, you know, he's lost 7/10 this lap just to Harpe. And, you know, it's I don't know what it is that's causing this, but drivers are losing huge amounts of time. SCT Danny having another moment, down to P9 he goes. SCT just not getting away with anything today. Flipping it though has really flipped his weekend and his race round. P4 now. He sits P4, but on old mediums. He's very much struggling on these old mediums, of course, as he almost spins it, almost taking out Kef at the same time. We've got a 4-car battle now. We've got a 3-car battle, who are all battling over this position. Let's see what is flipping it going to do. He's going to stick to the inside. He's going to keep battling this. But look at how they're all battling. One's going off track 3 wide. Now goes back down to 2 wide. Cars all over the place. Nobody knows where they are going. But it's ultimately I Am Daoni who gains out of all of this, because he makes his way up to P4 without a massive battle, without massive hustle. And Tarulba now, you know, we saw the PEC drivers going for a different strategy going on the mediums, but that strategy has not worked because others are clearly just faster. Even on hard tyres, they're just clearly faster. Maybe some overheating kicking in for these guys. I think that could be one of the biggest things that is kicking in for the drivers, is this overheating stage that they're currently facing. But the thing that one of these guys are facing is Hoodman's. He's currently facing reducing lead, and there's a yellow flag. That is for Moore, who's going slowly. He drops down to P10 now. Even more disappointment for XPG. 1 point is going to be coming on the table for them, and even worse result than as bad as a result as last race. As we now watch on, Kef still trying to make his way through this group. Still unable to. He's now a mistake from flipping it has come in. That should make the move maybe slightly easier as he now makes his way up to P6. He goes. And a move made he needed to make now. And he's made it. And that's up to P6 Peck on their way for a lovely 18 points here tonight to try and push up the order quite heavily is what they need to do. TTRE currently on their way to take the lead of the constructors here tonight. They're going to take a big lead in the constructors. I believe it's going to be about, if I am correct, VL will walk away with VL will only just walk away with 34 points here tonight. They're going to walk away with 34 points after tonight, and then we've got to remember TTRE were 3 points behind, so that's going to be 43. There's going to be a 9-point lead for TTRE, a lovely 9-point lead coming in for TTRE after tonight, which is, I think, something they'll be quite happy with, is to walk away with with 43 points, to walk away and take a 9-point lead in the constructors. Exactly what they needed. Tarulba now makes a move. Whoa! Side by side, getting pushed around by his teammate Kef. It is all going on over here. Some teammate battles going on down at Peck. Maybe a bit of a Mercedes situation is what we're starting to see here. But they are all going at each other with everything they've got. They're really pushing at each other now. Down the pit straight they go. GRS versus Peck. Is it going to be 3 wide? It is going to be 2 wide, though. Further behind. But it's a nice double move from Peck up into P4 and P5. On for 22 points. To be one of the biggest points totals of the season. It will actually be the 3rd biggest points total of the season from any team in a single race. So it'll be quite interesting to see how that goes. So let's see as they race on here tonight. You can still see I am Daoni trying to hold in on this group. He's trying to keep up with the Peck drivers, but he's struggling on his hard tyres. He really is. Pace has not been on the side of GRS tonight. Of course, Lauda retiring, and now they've got I'm Daoni with a penalty and P6 at the moment. So he most likely will finish P7 if this is where he does, of course, finish P7 with these timings. But at the moment, he might even be looking at a P8 finish at the end of the day. So it will only be 4 points walking the way of GRS, and so it's not particularly a good day. But the way that these Peck drivers are battling each other, we might be seeing some points, maybe some more points heading towards I am Daoni here tonight. Oh, big mistake from Tarulba. Tarulba then does get a good exit from that, but that is all that he could get in the end. As now they make their way through the S section. It's all coming down to this, but Kef and Tarulba getting very racy right now. I must say they are getting incredibly racy. This is something I didn't expect to see. As Manolo now pits again. I think we saw SEC Danny pit as well earlier on. So that's I think that's something that's going to be interesting as this goes on. Yeah, so let's see how these guys are going to be able to make their way around. You can see flipping it now comes into the pits. He's done. So Kef make a mistake. He's dropped down quite far back. Still looking at this lead. Hoodman's increasing the lead bit by bit. Now up to 3.1 seconds in this race. It's gained just a little bit more bit by bit. That's what it's really been gaining here tonight. For Hoodman's up to 3.1 seconds now. His lead been quite strong so far. He's been in the lead for about the last 8 to 10 laps. Nobody's really gotten close to him when it comes down to leading wise. He hasn't really had a problem. We just saw Taroba, I believe, have a bit of a moment. Both Peck drivers not getting away nicely with tonight, I must say. What was looking like a dream for Peck and, P4 and P5 finish now turning into a bit of a nightmare because they won for P5 and P10, only 11 points walking their way. Not a strong performance to walk away with here in Suzuka. Definitely not a strong performance, I must say. But yeah, we've still got another 6 laps of this race to go. Let's see as the drivers make their way round. You can just see how, Hoodman's been just driving it incredibly well. The pace he's had, the way he's been so far ahead. It's quite interesting to see that he's been able to either grow or maintain this lead on these hard tyres. He's lapped, I think, a driver, or he's soon to be lapping a driver, by the way. That is what we're currently seeing. He will lap at least 1 to possibly 3 drivers by the end of the race. That's how quick he's been. Hoodman's, he had one moment, lost him out the sort of lead. He didn't have a good start. He had a moment sort of at the beginning of the race, and that sort of lost him, sort of gap to the lead. But after Manolo's moment and his spin, it's ultimately allowed Hoodman's to go back up into the lead, and he's just kind of led since about lap 10, lap 11. He's led for at least 10 laps now. He's had this incredible lead. I think he's led for about 11, 12. Maybe even 13 laps in this race. He's led a long, long time now. And that lead hasn't sort of really grown, nor has it really decreased. The threat of another TTRE victory has sort of sat in the back of Hoodman's mind. 5 laps still remain of this race. Still another 5 laps remain. But, we're seeing this from Hoodman's that he's got a lot of pace on his side. He's been pretty quick. All race, qualifying also on pole. So if LR can take a pole and a victory, this is exactly what they'll be hoping for. So, I just noticed I switched off my mic. My mic unplugged. That's why I've been silent. I've been trying to find the cable in the millions of cables I currently have. So we're about to go on to lap 23 of 27. Only 4 laps remain. And those chances decreasing for Harpe to take the victory. But the gap not increasing nor decreasing, staying around the same as last lap. He's exactly the same as last lap, by the way, exactly 3.3. He's lost I think he's lost about a tenth since the last lap, so he is still losing bits of time. But overall, keeping up altogether. Flipping it now makes his move on Moore, who goes down to P9 now. He's really struggling now in this race. He's down in P9. So some problems coming in there for HS Moore. XPG only on for 2 points still in this race, unless Kev can catch up. And then they'll be down to just 1 point. My AI might be getting some more action very soon, because SCT Danny is now caught up to my AI. We're going to see some more torment to be done between driver and AI here tonight. Yes, I know it is my AI. I know it's a bit of a mess. But not a lot I can do, really. If I'm being honest, there's not a huge amount I can do about this. The game's just a bit broken. But you can see, I see Danny pushing to try and catch up to my AI. Quite by about 8/10 the last lap. And now there's a big incident. Taroba's down. That also sees I am Dione into the wall and spinning it. Taroba gets a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision. Very, very interesting to see. I don't even know what happened there. It's a rather odd one. Vixel now helping out a little bit, because now see VEL back up into a decent chance, on for 18 points. They might, it looks like they'll still take the lead of the, it still looks like they're going to be taking the lead of the Constructors' Championship. They're going to still be 3 points ahead, which is just going to be really annoying TTRE, that if they had a second driver tonight, they might have been able to pull in some extra points and take the lead. They might have to sit behind VEL, but there's a big but to that, because Zalix has got to stay in front of Flipping It, who is catching. Flipping It is catching rather quickly. And so we'll have to see whether, of course, Zalix is able to stay in his position on those old hard tyres, whether he's going to be able to stay in P6, or will the man of Flipping It be able to catch up within that time and pick up a P6 finish and demote them down a couple of places ultimately in the end. So we'll have to see as the laps go on, as now they trod onto lap 25. 3 laps remaining. Hoodman leads this race by 4 seconds now. He's grown that lead by about another 8/10 from the last time we looked. So that lead is starting to grow. It's been growing bit by bit, but now it is really starting to grow. Habe really struggling, but so is Hoodman's. You could just see he's really struggling to get the car turned in. You know, the Williams not really wanting to work for LR here tonight, and that's a real problem for LR, is, you know, if they can't keep the car working. But for the moment, I think they will, just for the moment, just for these final 3 laps, you know, as the laps do start to tumble off of the race. I think we are going to be seeing that become a little bit easier as the laps do start to tumble down. And as the overall distance starts to, you know, slowly come down over each lap, you know, as the meters, the miles become meters. And, you know, as it becomes shorter and shorter, the amount of driving he'll have to do on these tyres, it's just going to work out a little bit better. But Habe, again, he's kept the same distance, but it's not been particularly an improvement in his gap. He's still about 4 seconds behind, which is, he's still sitting at about the same gap as before. He hasn't gained, he hasn't lost this lap. But another TTRE podium is something that they'll take away well. But not leading the Constructors is the thing that I don't think they will take away well. But with how Flipping It has caught up, he might actually stop VEL from taking the lead of the Constructors, because he'll demote Zalix down a place, losing them 2 points. So for the moment, they might not lose their lead, but it will go down to a 1-point lead as Flipping It now gets P7. That's the move he needed to make right at that point. And that's a good move for Flipping It. And it's a good move for SET, now on their way for 8 points here tonight. Nice 8 points to walk the way of SET. Flipping It definitely deserving it here tonight. That is something I can most definitely agree on. He definitely deserves to have it. And here he comes down the inside. He's giving the VEL driver of Zalix a bit of trouble. But you can see I am Dione he's trying to keep up with this. He's got the DRS. He's got what he needs. Now here comes flipping it, heading down the pit straight. He's going to take that position away very quickly. And into P6 he goes. Moore gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. That might drop him back actually quite a bit. That might drop him outside of the points. We'll have to see as the race goes on. Only a few laps remaining, but we've seen the first driver get lapped. Manolo has gotten lapped for the first time in this race. First driver to get lapped, ultimately. We've had 2 retirements. That was Lauda and Tabaxi for GRS and LR, respectively. But it's LR that are leading, and it's going to be LR that lead onto the final lap as they come round. Hoodmans leads onto lap 27. He's led about 17, 18, maybe even 19 laps this race. He's led a massive amount of laps here in Suzuka, and that's going to just help LR to take even more at the end of the season. It's going to bolster their stats, of course, to have such a huge amount of laps led. But we're going to be watching Hoodmans as he makes his way through his final lap, the final lap of the race. So he makes his way through. We're going to be watching as the Williams carves its way up through the grid. And that's a mistake from STT Danny. He spun it. It's a yellow flag in the middle sector. As now you can see Hoodmans finishes the first sector, first third of the track. It's the longest sector, actually. It's the longest sector out of them all. So for Hoodmans, the lovely thing for him is he knows this next sector will luckily be a little bit shorter. So at least he knows this sector will be a tiny bit shorter than the last, at least a tiny bit shorter, but of course that is the way that it does go. Of course it is the way that it does go. But as you see, as he makes his way around, lots of speed, incredibly fast spoon corners. Now heading down the main straight as he heads up the hill. Now going over the bridge he goes to end off the second sector. He's pushing for a personal best, by the way, up 55 thousandths. He's absolutely going for it at the moment. Hoodman's now into the final chicane. He's just got 3 more. Now 1 more corner to negotiate. Hoodman's for LR wins in FRLT Tier 2 in Japan in round 2. He's won. He's taken it. Harbe will have to finish P2 5 seconds off of the lead. That's then going to be followed by the man of Wildstorm, who is now going to be sitting in P3. A good podium walking his way here tonight. We've got to wait a long while before we see the next 2 drivers cross the line of Vixel and Torolba, who are both going to be P4 and P5. It might even drop down another place for Torolba because of his massive penalty. But this looks like that's going to be our P4, P5, P6. A lot of drivers a lot closer in this next section. Now Vixel crosses the line, he goes P4. Then Torolba P5, he gets another 10-second time penalty for an unserved penalty, even making his day even worse here today. But ultimately for Zalix, he actually got up to P6 in the end, and that has allowed him to, of course, get those points that he needed and to hold on to the lead of the Constructors' Championship for VEL just for now. Ever so much. Moore finishes in 10th. He looks like he won't be staying in 10th for long because we've now got SEC Danny coming around, and then we've got my AI, which will be the last driver to cross the line. We've got these 2 pretty close together. But that is ultimately the end of the race. Full 27 laps have now been completed, and that is Danny across the line. He stayed P11 in the end. So, with all the celebrations over and done, let's go through the order. From pole to victory is Hoodmans, who takes the win. Then it's Harvey from 14th to 2nd. Then Wildstorm from last to 3rd. A good performance. Vixel finishes 4th. Flipping it 5th. Zalix in 6th. Then the Peck duo of Kef and Torolba in 7th and 8th. I am Deone in 9th. And HS Moore finishes out the top 10 with SEC Danny in 11th. Then myself somehow, and then Manolo in 13th. Our retirements being Lauda and Tabaxi. Those were all of our retirements. But ultimately, For me, Hoodman's was the drive of the day altogether. Definitely drive of the day. But sadly, it is that time of the stream to say goodbye to you all. It has been absolutely amazing. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on the notification bell to know about all the content we do, from videos, shorts, to streams like this, to our races. Next time you shall see me is on Sunday for round number 1 of the Force Championship. Please make sure to stick around to see that. And I think that's pretty much it. But before I go, let's just have one look at the calendar. For next week, we'll be going to Australia, then Imola, then Las Vegas, then Spain, then Bahrain. Then I believe we have our Christmas break. Then we'll be going to China, Austria, and Great Britain. That is our calendar all together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.